Okay, what I got here, measuring a couple different things. Telescoping gauge. I'm coming in and I am measuring the inside diameter. I find it easier to put the mic on the little stand there. Recording the numbers. I've already done all this. Then I'm coming back and doing the valve stem. These are stainless steel valves, and they were put in sometime in the 50s, I think. And they're not worn out bad. Let me back up here. So I'm taking this diameter, that one, and that's giving me my clearance. Now, when I asked Roush to set my clearances, I asked to have them at 5 thousandths. Every one of them but 4 at 5 thousandths. The rest are at 4.5 thousandths, which that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's dead nuts. So I'm getting my clearances here, and I'm also measuring the margin. Some of the margins are tighter than I would like, but it is what it is. This is not a race engine. I don't anticipate this thing seeing a lot of pre-detonation, a lot of heat, a lot of timing advance in it. This is going to live a mild life, so I'm not worried about the margin so bad. They already lapped the valves for me, so I don't have to do that. Let me see here. Not as good as any right here. I don't know if you could see where the lap comes in. Usually it should be in the center, but I've got margin. It is what it is for what I gave them. They did a great job of getting it where it needs to be. I did have hardened seats put in this thing for exhaust, and there were 1 or 2 intake that were so bad that they had to put a hardened seat in there. I have also found some porosity in one of the combustion chambers. I'm not worried about it because it doesn't go into a coolant jacket. That is not a crack. That is porosity. And if you see, it does not go into where the hoop strength would be for the valve seat. So I'm not even going to worry about it. It doesn't go to the spark plug cavity. It just is what it is. There's some porosity up over here too. I mean, it's 104 years old. What do you expect? So I'm going to clean these up. The staining, that's from the anti-corrosive I put on this a year ago, so it wouldn't rust. I can't get it out. It's in there. I've cleaned it with brake clean and stoned it and did whatever I could. It's there, so it's going to live there. I'm not worried about it. So now I'm going to clean up the bores, not the bores, but the guides and the valves. I'm going to put a little brake clean on them, run them through the hole a little bit, wipe them off. And when I go to assemble this, I'll use some 50 weight oil. Okay, what I'm doing now is, I have no idea, but the person that built this engine up before me a long, long time ago put helper springs in. I don't know why. It doesn't have a high lift cannon in it. It's not going to see high RPM. All it's going to do is what this spring did right here. Is it bound up in there and it snapped. So no helper springs. Helper springs, we don't need helper springs. But what I am going to do, I'm going through and I'm measuring the height of all the springs in their relaxed place. I've got 2 engines worth of springs here. I'm going to pair up all the springs so that they're all the same height. And then what I'm going to do is when I assemble the head, I want to measure the spring depth. When I took this apart, everything was coming in at 44, 45, somewhere around there. Another head that I had taken apart came as high as 47. I have shims. I'm going to try to shim this all to where they need to be. So if I do have a spring that needs to be shimmed, I will use one of the springs that isn't as high. Don't know if that makes sense to you guys. Makes sense to me. Okay, the majority of the valves, I went to the other head. In the valves springs were all right around 2.5, 2.59. So all of them are within like 14 thousandths of each other. So this is where this gets tedious, because depending on how much the seat pocket was machined, that's going to change my installed spring heights. I'm just going to start off with the tallest spring. And this is also a pain in the ass because I have to put a lock wire in here. So it's going to be me putting this all together and taking it all apart after I do my measurements and my shimming. So this is going to be tedious. Come on, get on there. There's just this little C-clip that holds that on there, so I'm assuming that's why they have that lock wire on there. Now, when I measured this, everything was coming in at 45. Let's see, what do I got here? That is at 46. I can live with 46. I'm going to have to live with 46. Because I'm not machining the head down. So like I said before, when I took this apart, they were all coming at 45 to 47 installed spring height. So as far as I'm concerned, that one's good. Well, this is what I got going. 46.6, 46.8, 46.4, 46.8. My spec sheet, when I took all this stuff apart, was coming in at 44 and 45. So I'm in millimeters now. I've got some shims, but not enough to do all of them. I might go back and do the 46s, because I do have one at 45. If I can get all these down to 44, and the one at 45, I can live with that. So I did, I'm assuming these are all the same thickness, or at least I hope they are. But once again, overthinking shit. I brought out my spring compressor. I don't even need my spring compressor. Just push down far enough. It comes right off. Okay, so that one was at 46. Let's just say this side up. Okay. That was at 46.6. Man, I'm seeing I might need safety glasses, huh? Okay, with the shim in there now, I just got this to, come on, get in there, 44. I am going to shim these. I'm more comfortable with the 44, especially you just saw how easily it took to replace those springs. So let me shim all these and see where I'm at now. Okay, I'm going back and I'm putting the safety wire on this stuff. I've seen people use cotter pins, but I like to use stainless steel wire. Let's see if I can find the... I just take it and bend it around most of the way on one side, run it through the hole, and take it down to the valve, or to the guide. This is where it gets kind of tricky because you have to hold the valve from turning, or actually turn the valve. And what I'm doing, I'm making an S on the valve itself with the safety wire. Like I said, it helps if you ground it out on the guide. And that way, the two ends are parallel to each other, or perpendicular, whatever. Here, I'll give you a close-up of what I just did. That's what I did. I'm going to go through and do that to every one of these. Because you saw how cheesy those clips were to hold the springs on. I imagine they dropped a few valves from time to time, and that'll prevent it. Hey, let me get all these shims in here and then remeasure this. It is so much better, or easier, putting it together this way. It's a little more dangerous, but hey, what the hell. What I ended up doing was taking the tallest spring that was from here and moved it down to here. And that would have been a 20, almost a 30 thousandths difference. So this spring that is going to go on the one without the shim is going to have more spring load pressure. And that'll solve the problem with it being a millimeter, a millimeter too high, too low. Either way, the problem's taken care of. I'm sure everything's going to be right in around 44. Oh, come on, get on there. Oh, that one's a tight one. Okay. Ooh, you almost saw something fun there. Okay, my hand's getting tired. I know, I should just use the spring compressor. What the hell? There we go. Well, if you see my face, I sure am making some faces. Okay, let's finish changing these up. My plan didn't work out. I'm short one shim to get everything at 4. Nickel plating, that turned out good until the positive end. The copper wire fell down into the bat, and it turned this copper color focus. So I'm gonna put that back in the nickel bath right now. Let that go a few more hours to see if I can cover up the copper that plated to it. This was a long day. I came out here at 9. Let's go totally naked. Okay. The head is together. I went down to a local engine building shop and a guy just gave me a spring shim. That was nice of him. So this head's ready for paint. I did my spring heights. I did it in English, not metric. Everything's within 10 to 20 thousandths of each other. Most of them are sitting at 175. See, the worst one's 178, but I'm not really going to worry about it. So I'm going to tape this thing off, and it's going to be painting day which means loud Judas Priest and plenty of vapors to inhale.